If you think vintage Corvettes were just stylish icons, think again. Beneath their glossy exteriors hid a concealed weapon, an engine built not just to win, but to defy the very rule books tightening their grip on American motorsport. This isn't just the story of another engine. This is the journey of the Chevrolet L8847, a power plant born from conspiracies, underground battles, and the unbreakable spirit of engineers who refused to surrender. Today, we uncover the shocking truth behind this forbidden beast. To truly grasp the power of the L88, we need to rewind to the early 1960s. At the time, Chevrolet was pushing the limits of its big block engines. Initially, they simply increased the stroke of the 409 engine, creating the 427W for the 1963 Impala SS. But behind closed garage doors, a little-known racer and engineer named Mickey Thompson was secretly experimenting with a bold project: the Mystery Motor MK2427. Unlike previous versions, the MK2 featured hemispherical combustion chambers and radical port designs, ushering in a completely new era of V8 performance. And this was only the beginning of what would soon become a legend. In 1963, the mystery motor finally stepped into the spotlight at Daytona. Junior Johnson's Impala, equipped with the MK2427, captured the pole position in dominant fashion. But the glory didn't last long. Rival teams, especially Ford, suspected something was amiss and quickly pressured NASCAR officials. After a post-race inspection, they discovered the mystery motor violated unwritten rules. Competition engines were supposed to be based on commercially available designs. NASCAR immediately banned Chevrolet's use of the mystery motor. With that blow, Chevrolet's dream of NASCAR domination collapsed overnight. But the rebellious spirit of their engineers was only just beginning to ignite. After the mystery motor shock, Chevrolet faced an even bigger challenge. In 1963, GM's executives issued a corporate ban on racing to avoid legal risks and protect the company's public image. But Zora Arkus Duntov, the father of the Corvette, refused to back down. He found a loophole. Instead of public sponsorship, Chevrolet would quietly offer racing engines to customers through hidden RPO codes. And that's how the L88 was born. A true race engine, disguised as a perfectly legal street option. Duntov reignited Corvette's racing spirit, crafting the L88 into a weapon that only the savviest drivers would know how to unlock. Don't let the street option label fool you. The L88 was, in truth, a racing monster, fine-tuned in every detail for maximum performance. Its 427 cubic inch engine used a 4-bolt main block, but beyond that, everything was extreme. Lightweight aluminum pistons with floating pins, shot-peened connecting rods for increased durability, forged, cross-drilled steel crankshaft to survive brutal high RPM conditions, high-flow aluminum heads, shedding about 70 pounds compared to iron versions, an outrageous 12.5-to-1 compression ratio, pure racing spec, requiring 103-octane fuel. At its core was a massive Holley 850 CFM carburetor, the largest ever fitted to a mass-production Chevrolet engine of its time. Everything focused on one goal: thriving at high RPMs, devouring air like a beast, and roaring on the track. Officially, GM rated the L88 at a modest 430 horsepower. In reality, it easily exceeded 550 horsepower. A perfect deception to deter casual buyers and leave this monster only in the hands of true warriors. The L88 wasn't just a powerful engine. It was a statement of uncompromising engineering spirit. When the L88 hit the tracks, it didn't need marketing. Its victories spoke for themselves. From drag strips at Pomona, to the tight turns of Lime Rock, to the roaring banks of Daytona, the L88 proved it was born to win. Two names became synonymous with the L88: Tony DeLorenzo and Jerry Thompson. They didn't just drive the L88, they tamed it, squeezing out every last ounce of performance from its ferocious heart. Their L88 Corvette made history by securing a second-place finish at the Daytona SCCA runoffs. A stunning achievement for a car that was street-legal in the loosest sense. But the L88 wasn't just a race car. It was a statement that the Corvette wasn't just about style. It had the raw muscle to strike fear into any competitor. With its lighter weight, naturally aspirated brutality, and overwhelming power, the L88 didn't just beat Ford and Chrysler. It forced them to rethink their strategies just to keep up. When the L80s thundered across the finish line, it wasn't just the roar of an engine people heard. It was the defiant spirit of engineers who dared to push beyond every limit. Despite dominating the racetrack, the L88 couldn't escape the crushing weight of regulations and GM's own internal fears. First came the price. Owning an L88 required paying an extra $1,500. Nearly 20% of a Corvette's total cost at the time. And that was just the beginning. The L88 demanded 103-octane racing fuel, a type nearly impossible to find for daily use. Add to that the complete removal of amenities like the radio, air conditioning, and power steering, and the L88 became a machine built only for true speed junkies. On the legal front, the L88 quickly became public enemy number one. New rules from the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, demanded strict emissions standards, impossible to meet with the L88's sky-high compression ratio. Insurance companies piled on too, labeling the L88 a suicide machine and raising premiums by up to 300%. Even the most daring racers hesitated. All these factors, internal corporate pressure, new laws, skyrocketing costs, and an impending fuel crisis, conspired to kill off the L88 after just 3 short years, from 1967 to 1969. The L88 didn't fail because it was weak. It was murdered by fear, by regulations, and by a world that no longer had room for such wild, unchained machines. Behind the scenes, the battle between speed enthusiasts and GM's bureaucrats never stopped. GM executives, fearful of legal risks and bad publicity, sought to quietly bury the L88. They hid the RPO code for the L88 deep within ordering documents, making it hard for the average buyer to even find it. Dealers were instructed to warn customers that the L88 was for racing use only. But Zora Arkus Duntov refused to sit quietly. He and his team of engineers continued to secretly pack the L88 with extreme race-bred features. Ultra-lightweight aluminum heads, an insanely aggressive camshaft that made the engine idle like a jackhammer, a monstrous Holley 850 CFM carburetor, ready to unleash full fury with just a screwdriver adjustment. Duntov knew the L88 wasn't meant for everyone. It was a secret gift, reserved for true racers who understood what they were holding. And with every roar on the racetrack, Duntov and his team silently sent a message. We're still here, and we will not surrender. Today, the name L88 isn't just a symbol of power. It's a symbol of an unbreakable spirit. Only 216 Corvette L88s were ever produced between 1967 and 1969. Each one isn't just a machine. It's a living testament to the engineers who defied corporate orders to keep racing dreams alive. A 1967 Corvette L88 once fetched over $3.4 million at auction. Not just because of its raw power, but because it tells a story of courage, ingenuity, and a spirit that refused to be caged. The L88 wasn't simply banned. It was assassinated in the shadows by regulations, fear, and pressure from all sides of the auto industry. But to those who once heard its thunderous roar at the racetrack, the L88 will forever live on as an indelible chapter in America's racing history. What do you think about the story of the L88? Do you believe that if it hadn't been killed, the L88 could have completely changed racing history? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to catch more rare and thrilling car tales.